My son thought I wouldn't notice when he slid a flat brown packet into my backpack and played it off like he was just helping with the groceries. But 30 years as a county deputy in Arizona taught me to read hands and eyes. Later, when I opened the pack, I found ghost gun parts and a handwritten bill from a back alley swap lot. Proof meant to bury me. That's when I understood. My own son was trying to take me down. He never saw what happened next. What would you do if your child tried to destroy you? Before we get into the details, please subscribe to the channel and let us know where you're listening in the comments. The morning sun beat down on the Hayden Road supermarket lot. Dry heat, sharp light. I pushed a cart toward my old pickup, my canvas backpack waiting on the passenger seat. Ethan walked beside me, smiling, hands quick the way they've been 100 times before. "Let me tidy up your pack, Dad," he said softly. I nodded. I angled myself left to catch the door's reflection from the SUV parked next to us. Ethan's right hand paused for a fraction, then unzipped the bag. A thin, flat brown parcel slid into the pocket beside my paracord. He closed the zipper and brushed the edge, like he was checking his work. I kept quiet. 30 years as a deputy and later as an investigator taught me to let things reveal themselves. I just memorized the plate on the silver pickup his buddies had pulled up in near the exit. "All set. Drive safe, Dad," Ethan said. I answered. We split at the gate. I drove home with the radio off. The backpack rested by my side like any harmless piece of gear. Once inside, I put the groceries away, went straight to my room, set the pack on the table, and pulled the shades against the glare. I opened my phone camera and filmed a top-down shot, chain of custody in case anyone claimed I'd swapped anything. I loosened the straps, unzipped, and lifted each layer. Beneath the paracord sat a brown paper packet sealed with black tape. I slit the edge and opened it. Inside were dark metal pieces, trigger assembly, pins, and unfinished barrel. A handwritten slip lay between them. Desert swap lot. Cash only. No returns. No store receipt. No address. Just the name of a back alley exchange people in the life call the dead market. I laid everything out exactly as I'd found it and snapped photos. If someone wanted to paint me as a man buying ghost gun parts, that scrap of paper would be their brush. I closed the backpack, brewed coffee, and carried it into my office. I was working through next steps when I heard Ethan's bedroom door open upstairs. He must have come home early. I didn't expect that. And he likely didn't know I was here. On most days at this hour, I'm at the neighborhood dance club. His voice came through the cracked door, low and steady, words clipping in and out. I stopped on the stair landing. Enough pieces dropped for me to stitch the meaning. "Old man's too nosy. Let the cops haul him out. House will be mine. Lost big this week. Lock it down before they foreclose." I tapped my mug against the counter on purpose. The voice upstairs cut off immediately. I went back to the office and opened my laptop. 2 things needed checking now. First, every document tied to the house. Second, how Ethan planned to hide the stash, because he sure wasn't keeping this in his room. I opened email and dug through spam. A strange thread popped up, a supposed power of attorney for property with a scanned signature of my name, warped and wrong. The last line said, "Transfer package received from a just-made account." I took screenshots and saved them. Then I called the Maricopa County Recorder's office. "Good afternoon," I said. "I need to place a fraud alert on parcel number. I believe a forged authorization is being used in my name." The operator verified details, read the parcel back, and confirmed the alert. I asked for a confirmation email. After hanging up, I booked a notary appointment at the UPS store off McDowell. That afternoon, I walked in with 4 printed screenshots and an affidavit I drafted. I am the lawful homeowner. I did not sign and did not authorize anyone to sign anything to encumber or transfer this property. Any recent correspondence claiming otherwise is fraudulent. Please record my statement. The notary checked my ID and had me initial each page. The stamp landed with a dry, definite thud. I took a paper copy and asked them to email me the scan on the spot. When I stepped outside, sweat ran down my back, but my head felt lighter. If anyone tried to sneak into my title, they'd hit a steel door, fraud alert, and affidavit before they got 2 steps. Back home, it was time to deal with the package. I pulled on gloves and brought the kitchen trash bag to the side table. I figured there might be something useful. My son throws away anything he decides he doesn't need. I dumped the bag, pinched my nose against the onion smell. Out tumbled basketball betting slips, cash withdrawals from a small casino on Indian School, and a crumpled receipt fragment reading, Iron Vault, Smoke Gray, Snap Lid. A quick search showed a big gray storage bin with a locking snap lid, the kind folks stick in a storage bay. The receipt had an order number and timestamp. I opened the doorbell camera app for our family storage shed out back. The receipt time was 30 minutes before Ethan got home, right at midnight the night before. A silver pickup idled by the shed. Ethan and 2 friends hauled a gray bin inside, rushed and jumpy. I grabbed a still and wrote down the plate. That night I waited for the house to go quiet. I slipped out the back and headed to the family shed. The tin door slid up and the hinges squealed. I swiveled the interior camera on its bracket to create a blind spot at the entrance. Headlamp on, I crouched by the stacks. There it was, Iron Vault, tucked beside the shelf. A shaky stripe of silver paint marked the lid, Ethan's way of claiming it. I snapped the latches. Inside, old t-shirts, bubble wrap, and random junk. I set the metal parts at the bottom and nested them under the fabric. The Desert Swap lot note went in the middle where anyone searching would discover exactly what they were looking for. I peeled off my gloves in one clean pull, balled them up, and pocketed the trash. Before leaving, I rotated the camera back and wiped the knob with a dry cloth. The door slid shut with a hard metal clack. The next morning, Ethan walked into the kitchen, sounding perfectly normal. "Dad, I'll be home late. Eat without me." "Okay, lock the door," I said. He sat, pretended to watch TV. I poured coffee and watched him from the doorway. His face was blank as glass. Around 11, he went to his room and closed the door. I heard him call someone. "Yeah, tonight. He keeps the backpack in his office. I'll describe it so they know. We're clear by tomorrow." His voice dropped. I didn't hit record. I didn't need more of my own son's voice to believe the truth. I needed a cool head to run the play. Around 4, the doorbell rang. 2 uniformed officers and a plainclothes detective stood on the porch. I opened up. "Mr. James Carter," one officer said, "we received information you're trafficking prohibited firearm parts. Will you consent to a search?" "Of course," I said. "You're welcome to look. Come in." Ethan appeared on the stairs wearing concern like a fresh shirt. "What's going on? Is my dad okay?" I gestured toward my office. The officers checked the room and went straight to the backpack on the table. They unzipped every pocket, unrolled tape, shook out the paracord bag, ran fingers along the seams. Nothing. One officer glanced at the detective. Ethan leaned against a post, color draining fast. I pulled a folder from the drawer. "I think you should see a few things," I said. "They'll clear this up." I set documents on the table. "Fraud alert confirmation from the recorder," I said, then slid over the affidavit signed and stamped yesterday afternoon. "I'll explain the context in a moment." I opened my phone. "I also have our storage shed's doorbell video. Night before last, someone brought a gray iron vault bin into the family shed. Here's a still, and the timestamp matches this receipt my son tossed. Same model, same night." The detective flipped through the papers. "Ethan, will you acknowledge this bin is yours?" Ethan looked at me, then mumbled, "I don't remember." "Then we'll check the shed now," she said. We went out back. I unlocked and rolled the door. The smell of old wood and oil drifted out. They swept with flashlights and went straight to the bins. The detective pointed. "This gray iron vault, who does it belong to?" Ethan stumbled. "The family." "To whom in the family?" "It's his," I said. The detective gloved up, snapped the latches, and lifted the lid. The t-shirts came out first. At the bottom lay the dark metal parts and the desert swap lot note. She signaled for photos and evidence numbers, then waved the manager, Hank, into his office. He pulled up the log and exported the entry from the night before. The timestamp matched the doorbell still. "We're sealing the bin and taking it in," the detective said. "Mr. Carter, please sign that you assisted." "I'll sign," I said. Ethan stared into the bin, face chalk white. He whispered to himself, "No way." I didn't answer. I didn't scold. I let the facts sit exactly where they belong. Paperwork took over after that. The prosecutor called 3 times, asked for a scanned affidavit, screenshots of the forged emails, and the timeline of what I heard. I told them only what I knew, no more. They said the charging path would likely be possession of unserialized firearm components, filing a false tip, and possible attempted theft by document fraud. I carried my paper affidavit to the recorder, filed it, and got a stamped receipt. I taped a small note inside my front door. "All property matters by certified mail to P.O. Box. No walk-ins without appointment." That night I sat at the kitchen table and opened my notebook. I wrote down the last few days. Flag the title, sign and file the affidavit, provide video, match the shed log, protect the scene, no shouting, no grandstanding. I thought of Sarah, my wife gone now. She used to say, "You'll get angry sometimes." Instead of yelling, "Follow the procedure." I didn't do this to feel triumphant. I did it so everything would land in its proper place under the law. I did it so I could sleep in my own house without the fear of a midnight knock. A week later, the detective called. "We have enough to recommend charges," she said. "The desert swap lot angle ties to another file. We'll update you." "How's Ethan?" I asked. She paused. "You know what he's facing. You should keep some distance." "Thank you," I said. I stepped onto the porch. Arizona's late sun hit the stunted trees head-on. Cars hummed along the street, steady as a box fan. On hearing day, I sat in the back row. Ethan came in wearing a tired shirt and a too-quick haircut. The public defender talked about pressure, debt, a young man off course. The prosecutor walked through the physical evidence, the shed log, the doorbell stills, and how the forged paperwork had been neutralized by the affidavit and fraud alert. I looked down at my hands, knuckles thick and scarred. There was no joy in it. The hardest part of life isn't proving someone wrong. It's watching your own kin walk into wrong and keeping your composure anyway. After the prelim, I filed for a no-contact order. The clerk asked, "Are you certain?" "I need peace to live," I said. "I'm still his father. I just won't allow another round." I sold off the excess and moved into a small apartment near South Mountain. The window looks over a tan-green strip and a wide sky. I kept a few things: Sarah's photos, the canvas backpack, a hard copy of the affidavit in a folder. I changed the family shed's lock code and moved the auto pay into my name. I called Hank. "Thang," I said. "You were there when it mattered." "Just my job," he said, slow and kind. "I hope your family finds its footing." "I'll try," I answered. That first night, I reread the checklist of what I'd done. Truth is, I didn't need to. The steps live in my bones, old instincts braided with a new boundary. That boundary isn't a wall. It's a rule I signed with myself. I won't let love become a reason for someone to harm me. I won't exile family, but I won't let them drag garbage through my door. On the weekend, I took the pack-up Camelback. I slipped in a Nalgene, an energy bar, and a trail map. I walked slow and breathed steady. A young couple passed with a little girl. The kid pointed at my pack. "I like your backpack, mister." I smiled. "Thanks, kiddo." I thought about the brown parcel that rode in this bag for a single day and how it now sits where it belongs, in lawful hands. These days, the backpack carries only what I need for the trail. One afternoon, I swung by the family shed. I opened up and looked down the quiet row of bins. Then I glanced at the iron vault at the back. "Take the lid off." "I don't want to think about it anymore," I told Hank. He shook his head and smiled. "Leave it. It'll remind folks to close the right lid at the right time." I didn't answer. I knew what he meant. Back home, the AC hummed. An envelope sat on the table, Ethan's handwriting on the front. I didn't open it. I put it in the top drawer and shut it, not out of hatred. I'm just not ready for what's inside. Apology or excuse. I need to keep what I've rebuilt. Sleep, calm, a steady rhythm. That night I stood at the window and watched the highway lights smear into a line. I spoke quietly like I was talking to Sarah. I followed the procedure. I kept the house. I kept myself. No one in the room answered. Only the dry wind moved through like a long breath. In the morning, I taped a note to the fridge. Renew fraud alert in 6 months. Verify affidavit archive. Backup shed video to hard drive. I drank my coffee, washed the cup, locked up. My phone buzzed. A text from the detective. Desert swap lot ties to a larger crew. More to come. Stay reachable. I replied, I'm ready. Just 3 words. Enough. At noon, I went back to the store, pushed a cart into the parking lot, saw rows of cars shimmering in the heat. A teen lifted a case of water into his mom's trunk. I watched his hands, clean, efficient. Thanks, honey, she said. An ordinary thank you. It reminded me of a different time, when Sarah was alive, when Ethan was little, when every sentence in our house had no angle behind it. I got in my truck, set the backpack on the passenger seat, zipped it tight. I didn't check reflections in the car next to me. I looked straight ahead, turned the key, and drove home. I don't wish to circle back to what we came through. I want to keep moving without another unplanned doorbell or a brown packet tucked where it doesn't belong. That evening, I called an old friend at the department. Thanks for telling me to stay calm the other day, I said. She laughed. You did what you used to teach us. Protect the scene, keep your word, keep yourself. Yeah, I said. This time I relearned that lesson in my own house. We let a few seconds of quiet sit, then said goodnight. I set the phone down, washed my hands, and killed the lights. Before bed, I wrote one last line. Don't rescue the person who's pulling you under, but leave the window open when the night air is cool. Plain words, no fancy talk. Enough so that tomorrow, when I open the notebook, I'll remember how to live. Next morning, an email from the recorder confirmed the fraud alert remained active and my contact info was current. I hit save. I left a draft in my inbox addressed to myself. When you're rattled, return to order. 1, safety. 2, paperwork. 3, evidence. 4, say less. I chuckled. Someone might call it fussy. I call it the way through. A month later, I met the detective at her office to sign a receipt for the evidence copies. She slid me a checklist with check marks down the page. Doorbell video, received. Shed log, received. Receipt images, received. Affidavit, received. Fraud alert confirmation, received. I signed and looked up. She asked, want notifications when the case advances? I want to know enough to protect myself, I said. The rest is your job. Fair enough. I stepped outside. Sun laid a pale powder over the sidewalk. I put on my sunglasses and walked slow. I've chosen my part in this story. The rest belongs to the court, the law, and the people whose job it is. I don't have to carry it for them. I couldn't if I tried. What I can do is keep the boundary that keeps me whole. Back home, I took the backpack down and hung it on the hook. I opened the drawer, glanced at Ethan's envelope, and closed it again. I poured water and set the glass down. In this house now, everything has its place. The empty bin in the shed, the papers squared away in a hard folder, the backpack clean and used for honest errands, the small note on the front door reminding folks to ring before entering. And in my head, there's a clear line. Love has limits, help comes with conditions, and peace requires rules. Night fell. I sat by the window and listened to the city breathe. I thought about tomorrow, up early, coffee, check the alert renewal date, a short walk. Call Hank to swap the auxiliary lock on the shed. Text the detective my new cell since I switched carriers. Small, concrete tasks. After a stretch of chaos, small and clear is how you stay out of the dark. I closed my eyes and slept. The sleep of a man who's put the right things in the right places. The sleep of a man who's spoken enough and kept quiet enough. The sleep of a man who understands that from now on, the doors in this house only open for what deserves to come in. If you like this story, please like this video. Subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts on this story in the comments. Each of your likes, shares, and subscriptions is a great motivation for me to continue writing the next stories. Thank you for listening, goodbye, and see you again.